What did Jimin say when Jungkook got hurt? Microphone leak reveals everything. This incident started from a small incident, but shook the hearts of the army. During an intensive military exercise, Jungkook reportedly suffered a minor injury while undergoing a physical simulation with his unit. Although not fatal, Jungkook was pulled out of the line by medics. But what really changed the mood was not the injury incident, but something that happened moments after, and accidentally caught by a microphone that is not turned off. The moment was recorded. The words were heard. And everything has changed since then. An audio snippet of the exercise was leaked on an internal military forum and quickly spread among restricted circles. In the recording, a person's voice is heard approaching and calling in a tone full of emotion. "Jungkook, you should know I'm always here." Her tone was soft but heavy, full of worry. And what made the hair stand on end the most was the fact that the voice belonged to none other than Jimin. The military staff initially thought it was just a casual conversation between two fellow celebrities in the military. But after being re-recorded and analyzed, many felt that it was more than just an ordinary caring phrase. It was a statement that came from the depths of feelings, someone who held back too much all along. After Jimin's voice was heard on the tape, there was a long pause of silence. Then the sound of footsteps. And then a quiet murmur from the very hushed Jungkook. "You came too." That simple sentence made many people in the room at that time hold their breath. Even the officer who was dealing with the wound was silent. No one expected that these two people, who usually appear calm and professional in front of everyone, it turns out to store so many things that they never reveal publicly. One of the coaches who witnessed the incident in person told the media. Jimin came during a training break, although he was not scheduled to be present at the headquarters that day. He walked in without saying much, carrying only a water bottle and an extra jacket. As soon as he saw Jungkook sitting with his knees bandaged, he immediately squatted down beside him and spoke very slowly. When asked why Jimin was able to come to the location without being detected by the media or fans, the staff simply replied, "When it comes to him coming for Jungkook, we don't think there's anything more to explain." Many soldiers admitted to crying after hearing the leaked version of the audio, which was eventually uploaded to fandom's private channel. Some netizen comments, "He doesn't have to scream." Such a short sentence is enough to explain everything. Even when Jungkook was injured, Jimin came. No camera, no spotlight, just because he cares. Their friendship is not a gimmick. It was real, and we were lucky to see it. After the news of the leaked recording spread, both from internal circles and the army public, the atmosphere seemed to change. Many admitted that they began to see Jimin and Jungkook's relationship in a different way, deeper, more honest, and more personal. There was a deep silence in their interactions afterward, even as the two made public appearances. But precisely from that silence, the fans could see that words were not the only language used by the two of them. Between military broadcasts recorded for internal documentation needs. There is a moment where Jimin is sitting in a corner of the training field. A glance glanced at Jungkook, who was undergoing light training after an injury. The camera caught Jimin smiling, not a celebrity smile in front of the camera, but the smile of a friend who feels relieved because the person he cares about has improved. Shortly after the incident, a handwritten letter appeared on a closed military bulletin board. Written in a neat but slightly shaky hand, the letter did not include the name of the sender or recipient. But its contents make many convinced. This is a letter from Jungkook to Jimin, or vice versa. The contents of the letter read, "I used to think we understood each other enough without having to say anything. But that day, as you stood beside me, I realized there are still words to be said before it's too late. You came, even though no one asked you to. You sit next to me, even though all eyes are on you. And you talk like old times, like when things weren't complicated. Sorry if it took me a while, but I'm still here, always." The letter was never taken back. It was only slowly torn apart by the wind, sheet by sheet, like a memory that remained even as its physical form began to disappear. An official community broadcast that took place a few days later. Jimin uploaded a photo of the evening sky from the military barracks page, accompanied by one short sentence in the caption, "I still hear your voice, even when you're silent." The army responded with a variety of emotions, some crying, some trying to guess, but all feeling the same. It's not just about two idols. It's about two humans taking care of each other in the middle of an overexposed yet stressful world. A world where fans always crave confirmation, validation, and clarity. Jimin and Jungkook's relationship remains a mystery that reinforces meaning. Not because they cover it, but because they guard it. And guarding is the deepest form of love. Now, every time Jimin stares into the camera at the mention of someone important, or when Jungkook smiles a little when he hears Jimin's name mentioned in the interview, ARMY knows there's a history behind it. There are stories that do not always have to be explained, and the microphone that leaked that day? Maybe it wasn't a mistake. Perhaps it is the only way the universe speaks when two hearts choose silence. That night, the sky of the military headquarters was clear without clouds. The atmosphere was already quiet, but in the corner of the backyard of the dormitory where the cadet soldiers used to gather quietly in search of the night breeze, two shadows could be seen standing opposite each other. One of them sits on an old wooden bench facing a low wall, while the other stands leaning, his hands folded on his chest. There they are, Jimin and Jungkook, and no camera, no highlights. Just the two of them, and time seemed to stop. "So, you heard everything, huh?" Jungkook asked quietly, almost in a whisper. Jimin did not answer immediately. He just nodded. The gloomy rays of the streetlight reflected light on his face, revealing tired streaks and emotions that were difficult to hide. "I didn't know what to say when I heard you say that. I tried not to come, but you know I never could." Jungkook looked down, his fingers playing with the tangled laces of his boots. "When I found out you were coming, it was like going back to the early days of our debut, when you never asked why before helping me." Silence enveloped them for a few seconds. Jimin finally said, "I came because you were silent. And if you are silent, it means that you are in the most chaotic state." Those words hit hard. Jungkook closed his eyes for a moment. "I'm afraid to talk to you. Not because I'm angry or resentful, but because I'm afraid that if I say anything, we'll be changed forever." Jimin approached, then sat down next to Jungkook. The two of them did not look at each other, but now sat very close, as if sharing one breath, one world. "I'm scared too," Jimin said finally. "But if we continue to fear each other, there will be no one left to save." That night, there were no tears, no hugs. There is no such dramatic statement on the Korean drama screen. Only simple, calm honesty, and it is in simplicity that everything begins to heal. The next morning, Jungkook and Jimin are seen walking hand in hand towards the training room. There wasn't much to say, but there were occasional giggles coming out of the two of them. The other soldiers glanced silently, knowing full well that these two legendary idols were going through a difficult time. Some who saw them that morning said it was like seeing the sun rise after a long rain. And indeed, sometimes relationships do not need to be defined by the words friendship or love. All it takes is knowing each other, taking care of each other, and getting back together, even after thousands of misunderstandings. What happened that night will never make it into the official military documentation. It will never be announced by the agency. It will never be allowed or denied in a live broadcast. But those who watched Jungkook's eyes change every time he heard Jimin's name, or Jimin's smile that appeared even before Jungkook finished speaking, they knew that no matter what has happened, no matter what they have experienced, one thing is certain. Behind all the pressures, cameras, and expectations of the world, there is a story about two young people who find each other and fight not to lose each other. And that story, it will never be lost.